right.
Hello, everybody. Hope all y'all doing good. It is Saturday, March 27th, 2021. Welcome to this edition of The Shattering. I am Chris Lotus, joined along with...
The Syrin Richxson.
This man got... he getting official with it. He said the... This man got... He said the...
I sure did.
How you doing?
Good.
Good. What's up?
So I'm finally on spring break.
Oh, cool. Okay. I've been out of freaking school for a while now. Like, I graduated some years ago from college, so I always kind of get like flashback because like, oh, spring break, I forgot there was a thing. But I mean, I was kind of a workaholic or whatever, so I mean, but I guess I kind of miss those days, I guess. I mean, when it comes to growing up, I'm kind of apathetic about the whole thing.
Yeah.
But how's your spring break been?
Well, just started, so...
Really just getting started?
Yeah, literally, I had a whole bunch of work done yesterday. I'm like, oh, okay. And I basically got this because all my other friends are busy, so...
Right. Yeah, okay. That's pretty cool. Well, let's get right into it. This week's trailer, even though considering the character is not really a high favorite of mine, it made me quite happy. Earlier, and I'm pretty sure a couple of you mentioned it in my video and all around, we did not expect to see team new faces or a member to be revealed this early. Like, at this point, I'm sure you realize it. We know the character is coming, but the fact still remains. Yashiro has been revealed before Ryo Sakazaki. At this point, that's a fact. What are your thoughts about Yashiro, Syrin?
That is pretty wild. Yeah. It's a character I don't know a ton about. I know he's one of the hockey shoe.
Yeah.
But, honestly, I have not played a lot of Team CYS at all, or Team Orochi, or whatever you guys want to call it.
They got a bunch of names.
I've played as Chris on that team, and that's like the only person I kinda slightly figured out.
Oh.
Shermie is kind of fun, but yeah, I figured out Chris. He's got like that weird flip kick thing that's a circle, and then he's got some stuff. I like playing as Orochi Chris a little bit, but usually play the art of fighting characters or just someone who catches my eye.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. I know you gotta be pretty excited about it.
Yeah, before we get to that, you mentioned Chris, not me, Chris.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and this is nothing personally against the character for me. It's just like I've seen other people talk about Chris, and he didn't like. I mean, it's just really cool to see like he has fans like more than usual. Because I don't know if they're in the chat. Shout outs to Suichi and hey Super Duper in the chat. Good to see you again as always. Because I talked a little bit to Suichi about it in my reaction to Yashiro's trailer, and in the general area, I think in Brazil, Suichi had mentioned that Chris is actually very popular there. And it's like,
Really?
yeah, apparently so. Like, they like Chris. I mean, hey, regional favorites are nothing too weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have like their regional favorites, all of that. It happens a whole bunch. You see it across different different media. Basically, there'll be certain bands that are more popular in this part of the country like this part of the world, opposed to like even where they might come from. Like the first example that comes to mind for me is Mr. Big, which funny enough, y'all might be thinking about the SNK, the fighting, the AOF, not AOF, basically he's a character in like SNK, like you know what I'm talking about. But no, I'm talking about the band that Mr. Big was named after, more than likely. Mr. Big had done the theme song for at least one of the ones that I know the best, and that was the original first season of oh my god, I'm drawing a blank on it. Hellsing. I was about to say the vampire anime. Like they did actually the closing song. Yeah, they did the closing song of that. It's called Shine. And apparently, like, Mr. Big is a band from over here in America, but apparently they are huge. They got really huge in Japan, which might have, I don't know if it was before or after, because I'm not really that well versed on, you know, Mr. Big's like music career. I have to keep mentioning here I'm talking about the band, not the character, but
yeah, I always think that the character never actually heard it.
Check it out. Check it out. There is a hard rock band that sprung up around here at the time of, I think they got like an endorsement from David Lee Roth of Van Halen fame. Yeah, it was a band called Mr. Big. And I don't know if this preceded them, but I almost want to think that however they got popular in Japan led to them doing something like the closing credit song, the closer of an anime series. So maybe that's the same thing with Chris. Like, maybe it's a regional thing. I mean, I'm not saying the character's bad. He's just not a favorite of mine personally. I don't think like he's a trash character. Chris, that is. Chris, not me. Or not me, Chris. I have to keep saying that. Shout outs to Suichi, honestly. Like, I don't know if Suichi's in the chat yet, but Suichi caught on to the whole... I usually do that whenever I'm talking to friends and there's a character with my name in there, and I always say, not me, Chris, or whatever. But I don't think Not Me, Chris is a bad character in any sense, then he just wasn't a favorite of mine. But when I would look around at the general consensus about him, like, he was often like the least favorite of the trio. But hey, just because of that does not mean he doesn't have fans, because he clearly does. And Orochi Chris actually was pretty cool. Like, I preferred his Orochi form and Yashiro's Orochi form as opposed to Shermie's. I hated Shermie's debate. Oh my god.
I'm alright with it, but it's like a little odd. Like this weird mix of like Benny Maru, and then she has like this weird electric kiss thing that just reminded me of Ash's one move from 13. I know that move was way before 13, but it just reminded me of it, and I was like, what? Oh.
I think at least Benny Maru had enough control and sense over his electrical powers to not even give it slightly a chance at hitting Benny Maru himself. That is the one big gripe I have with that. That's the biggest gripe I have with it.
It does one taunt where he gets himself by accident with electricity. 13, I think.
But the thing is, he does not... I don't think he gambles on it like that, like the mess. And I know it's just one move that probably nobody uses with Orochi Shermie, but why? Why gamble it on it? Why gamble on the lightning possibly hitting you? Oh lord!
If you're lucky, but if you're not,
you would have to be Phoenix Wright lucky to have that mess not hit you hit you one time. Phoenix Wright luck would be the lightning hitting you and it doesn't kill you and you win the match despite the fact your mess backfired on you. But I was thinking, because someone else in my video had said it in the comments, I was thinking that there might have been like a Yashiro hybrid with like his Orochi abilities there, because I love the mess where he was basically taking people by the leg, and as I said in my video, swinging them back and forth like Hulk did to Loki in the first Avengers film. Like, that was fun. I mean, I thought they were going to give him one of those command throws, but it just so happened to be a regular throw. And far as what we saw, we didn't really see much of it. We didn't even really see Yashiro do those charge punches. Like, he did some charge punches, but he never fully charged them up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
The thing I always thought was interesting was like sometimes the charge moves, if you charge them enough, they do more damage, and sometimes they're just there just to charge them and you delay them. I guess it makes sense.
yeah, because... And then also on top of damage with certain moves like that, for instance, there will be moves, and this kind of goes across a bunch of different fighting games. Sometimes when you charge the move faster, like when you charge it, not faster, but if you charge it up for a long enough time, what'll happen is the fact that you actually get armor properties. If you happen to charge it up for long enough, you'll get that.
Yeah.
And then also, of course, there's mind games with it. For instance, let's say someone thinks, oh my goodness, they're charging it up, so I'm gonna jump. And then they release it early and you get anti-aired, and then if it's the right type of move, you get pushed all the way across the screen and a knockdown, and so back to the hurdles you go.
Yep.
Hey Jose, how you doing? Everybody in the chat, how you doing? We got 7 watching right now. I'm glad you all are here because the last segment of this podcast, we are going to be doing some numbers. Some interesting numbers. You're talking about you on spring break. I don't know if you're taking any math classes, but we are about to do some very, 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 very complicated. Not really.
The closest thing I have to a math class right now would probably be economics.
You said economics?
Yeah.
Can y'all hear Syrin all right over there by chance? Just a mic check.
I'm being a little quiet right now. I probably should get a little closer to the mic.
There you go. There you go. But I mean, you're right. Economics, I think, is about close. I mean, it's not just about money, but it's also about math and, you know, where that money will go, which will effectively determine, hey, a positive outcome, negative outcome, gains, losses.
Now I have a new fear: credit card debt. I think I don't have a credit card.
Yeah, but Yashiro's trailer was actually like, it was decent. I don't think it was on par with like any of the other trailers that we've seen, but at the same time, the funny thing about it was for somebody like me, and I mean plenty of y'all, because I saw it all over like the on like the SNK release, like the official video release, and the comments there. I'm pretty sure any hardcore Yashiro fans were probably annoyed with the fact, guys, it's Yashiro's trailer. Why are we talking about Shermie? This is Yashiro's time. Why is everybody talking about Shermie? It's Yashiro's time. We saw Yashiro first. Why are you talking about... That's why I tried not to mention her too much when I did my reaction, because I didn't want to be that guy. Because Yashiro's not a bad character. I think he's actually pretty cool. He would be my second favorite in the band. But I just, like, that's more so because of his Orochi form. Like...
Just imagining if Pro gets dropped, people, just disappointment people will have, because it's like, there's not a ton of people. I know there's a couple people out there, but there's not a ton of people who are rooting for Goro Diamond.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never figured out how to even, like, do anything with him. I tried, and I'm like, what? How do I don't get it. Then I dropped the character immediately.
To my Goro Daimon?
Yeah.
He actually, I think this might have been the first KOF 14 main event at EVO, I think. Top 8. Because I know he won, I think the guy's name is ET or something. Like, I know a couple of different faces in, like, the KOF community, but, like, I'm still learning names and all that because I just love how diverse it is. Like, people think about pro players in all these SNK games, be it Sam Show, KOF, but like they always think about them being in the Central Americas and like in, you know, even in South America. But, yeah, you know, of course you have, it's got quite an audience in Korea, some in China because Xiao Hai, one of my favorite players, you know, unfortunately Love him, but it's like one of my friends we were talking about him. He just sometimes can't seem to pull off a big you want to, but hey, that gives you more of an incentive to cheer for the guy. Really good player because he actually was in finals. I think in the first KOF 14 Evo Grand Finals, and he actually got by. I think his name is ET. I hope I got his name right. He was playing Goro Daimon, and that was insane. That was like insane. He did like the most craziest wake up reversal. You have to watch it. Like, it's a really good match. I actually was going back and watching some old school. I was going back and watching some old KOF 14 pro playing like high level matches, and I'm like, I know the game wasn't graphically the best, but those are some good matches.
I haven't really seen anything competitive on KOF 14. I've seen some stuff on 13. Like, all of them though, it's like Mr. Karate, Kim, and just one other character they'll choose. Whether that be Iori or Chin or something. I'm like, wow, okay, this is really what it looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know Mr. Karate's pretty top tier.
Yeah, that's kind of why I liked, that's why I was able to kind of sit through a lot of the stuff with the 14 stuff, because there was a lot more variety there. It was kind of ironic seeing that how Gongil wasn't really that popular amongst light players, like far as just, like, hey, I look like this character's awesome, but like he's barely very meta. Barely was very meta. And then watching one of my favorite players from Japan, Koji KOG, who I actually got to it. I got into him because he was this crazy but incredibly good T-Hawk player in Street Fighter. And then I saw him, I'm like, oh my goodness, he plays KOF? Who's he gonna play? And he's playing Verse, and I didn't realize people could like combo. I didn't know you could combo like Versus supers like back to back. Like you knock somebody down, the meteor's falling, and you do another one. I'm like, because nobody really played Verse around where I was. So.
Yeah, I barely saw anyone play Verse at all.
But I guess he wasn't, SNK boss enough to be banned.
Yeah.
Before we go any further, hope you're having fun and staying safe out there, Jose. Says on a road trip in California with some family. Super Duper in the chat was probably replying to. Remember, I was talking about the annoyed Yashiro fans that probably hated all the Shermie talk. He was like, "That's because Shermie is hot."
Yeah, they got you there.
I mean, there's that, and I mean, she is SNK's undisputed queen of suplexes. So take hotness and add somebody that can do a whole bunch of suplexes. You got that. Like, I know people love Mary and everything, then, but how many suplexes does Mary does? She just does a German suplex. Like, Mary's more around, armbar, like the Commando Sambo style. Like, you've seen several different characters have it. Whether you play this game, whether you played, what was the character's name in DOA? Bayman. Who else did that? Who's a more popular in Tekken? Who was he? Dragunov. But I mean, you take the hotness and you got somebody who's throwing you around like all these different suplexes and everything. Come on. The only request I have is that when they bring her in, if you're gonna remake her theme song, do not revert back to the version that was in SNK Heroine's Tag Frenzy. I hate that version of Shermie's theme song. I hate that version. Like, listen to like the original version, Syrin, and then listen to like the remix or like the remake that's in SNK Heroine's. Maybe you might feel differently, but I think it was awful.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
By the way, all of you in the chat, then give your shouts out to Syrin, because this guy got us with a nice, laid back, and from what I'm listening to, pretty funky SNK themed playlist in the back. So give your thanks to him then, because he took, I did not know how funky the intro, the little bass intro for Najed's theme song is. So send your shouts out to Syrin in the chat. But go ahead while I'm over here bass air guitaring.
The playlist. that took me a little while. It didn't take too long, but I thought I had to like think about the tracks. I'm like, well, I don't want all of them to be from 13 because all the music I really like is from 13. And then some other stuff from 14. I'm like, well, I gotta think a little bit more. I'm like, okay, I'll think of some stuff from 2002 UM, some other stuff, and if I hear anything I like along the way, I'll just grab that. And heard that you like Shermie's themes. I looked for a Roshi team theme. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, okay, what's some other stuff I like? I'm like, oh, okay. You know what I think is a game that's kind of underrated because it's completely overshadowed by its UM version, 2002. I like some tracks from that. I'll grab some from there. I'll grab some other underrated games because some of those have some pretty good tracks.
Yep, they sure do. Because
I hope KOF 15.
the funny thing,
KOF 15 has some.
yeah, because he actually, Syrin told me straight up that he remembered the song that played during Chizuru's trailer, which I still love to this day. It is just, it's a good fit for her then. And like on top of that, it's just a really good song. Like I like ethereal, chilled out, like music for the most, like I like a whole lot of that stuff then. Whether it be like just what they call new age music, or whether it's the more modern stuff that you see like on your different little lo-fi chill hop streams polluted all over YouTube, which shout outs to all of you because y'all have helped me through a lot of very long sessions when it came to putting a lot of the videos that you see on my channel together. But yeah. So Jose in the chat says, I doubt we said, what's your favorite?
I was gonna say, so far my favorite thing I've heard so far, what they've shown from 15 is probably Terry's theme, the beach one.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's very modern. It was a good fit for like the stage. Didn't they change up the song like when they went to the little demo where they had like a simulation of like actual back and forths? Didn't they have like another song playing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one too because it sounded almost like something from like, I guess.
From Fatal Fury.
Yeah.
It's from Fatal Fury.
Yeah.
It starts with a.
And I do like some of the remastering they've done with a lot of those tracks too. Like the remastering of what they did in Andy's trailer, that was actually pretty good. It's like you could tell that it's a very retro sounding song, but it's remastered to where it's you like exactly.
I think they probably found the original one and they're like, okay, so we're not going to compress the crap out of this one and we're going to just slap it in a. Yeah, that sounds good.
I mean, from what I heard, it sounded pretty good. From what I heard, it did.
Yeah.
Jose says, imagine if Shermie and Angel interact with each other in a rival cutscene for KOF 15. That would absolutely be beast.
Wow.
Well then.
Yeah.
Well then.
Got the
he also
two
said.
ladies that.
Go ahead. Two ladies that.
The two ladies KOF that people play for certain reasons, and sometimes they're really good. They're both grapplers as well. Let's say that they've had some interesting dialogue. I wonder if Shermie would judge her for her weird cowboy boots, cowgirl boots.
I mean, being a wrestler and all that, I mean, you will see a whole lot of different crazy attires throughout the wrestling, like, you know, timeline. You only have to go back into the time, like in the 80s and stuff, during the booms when you had a lot of really crazy stuff. So, and I mean,
makes sense.
Say what?
I guess it makes kind of sense since their characters from Mexico and
yeah,
kind of they have cowboys in Mexico. So I guess that's makes a bit of sense. He was part of Team Mexico.
Jose also said that I doubt Chris and Shermie trailers will be next. KOF 15 trailers are going to be random, so let's not expect anything too much. I actually meant to put this, I think I cut it out when I had reported my reaction to Yashiro's trailer, but that is going to be the big catch right there. I really feel like the next one is not gonna be Shermie's. I don't think the next one might even be Chris's, to be honest. It might actually be Chris's because they know where everybody is looking and who everyone is waiting for in terms of like who will team up with Yashiro. But yeah, I don't think this is gonna be like a one behind the other type of deal. Like there's gonna be some more stuff at play here. There's gonna be a lot more twists and turns because on some instances, people think that SNK is just totally out of touch with like stuff that the fans are thinking. And like, I mean, I'm not saying they totally are or aren't, but I'm pretty sure they see where a lot of the hype in what particular character lies where. Like, especially like what I just told you earlier about everybody in the comment section down there in freaking Yashiro's video. Shermie here, Shermie here, Shermie. It's like, okay, SNK is like, all right then, okay, keep that up then. I'll tell you what, we're gonna reveal her very last. Now they're gonna do that mess, and y'all are gonna come in here and y'all gonna yell at me saying that I'm working for SNK, like I'm a secret agent or something, and I made them do it. Great.
Dang. They would reveal someone like somehow even crazier last. They'd be like, okay, so we're adding because we have a deal with Namco. We're gonna be part of Namco team. We ran out of Tekken characters that we could use the moveset for, so we grabbed Pac-Man.
What you got for us today?
Oh, in terms of bullet
Yeah, what's
points?
the one bullet point you got?
The one I remember the most here is the think characters will get new designs. We've seen some, but
I'm saying, do we
how many
think?
do you think?
Oh, how many? Oh, how many?
How many people do you think might get redesigns, and who specifically do you think will get redesigns?
Interesting. Who do I think will get redesigned? Because we've kind of seen a few, I want to say. Because let's see, Shune. Yeah, did Shune really get a redesign?
No, he just hit the gym.
Yeah, he got a little bit more
I know the
lean.
ones we've seen so far is
I know
Benimaru.
Yeah, Benimaru,
And-
Iori got one too.
Story, yeah, and Yashiro kind of. He doesn't have the belts connecting anymore, and he doesn't have the weird like things that go around his shoulders. I forgot suspenders. He doesn't have the weird suspenders.
All right. Let me see, cause a lot really cause it's funny. I just saw the clip of Mai when she like makes that little small appearance in Andy's trailer when she scolds him. If I'm going based off of what we saw there, I don't think she'll get one, which is. But then again, I mean, hey, we only saw like a little bit, and hey, it might just be a placeholder. Maybe like her little cameos, like in that trailer, and then we saw her for about 5 seconds in the very first inaugural KOF 15 trailer. Maybe they might redesign her for when they bring her back, like when they bring her out for a character trailer. I'm looking at Yuri Sakazaki's trailer on here. I wouldn't even call it a redesign. She just got her hair back. She's got the ponytail back.
Yeah.
And doesn't look stocky like she did in freaking 13. I'm not gonna spend a whole nother freaking chunk of time on this podcast ragging on her design. You all know how I feel about that design at this point. You all know. So, who else have we seen?
Would say Joe, but he doesn't wear much. All that has is shorts changed a little bit.
I don't think like
Last game.
I don't think he like had anything like that really. As far as like the design, I'm not sure. Then again, like
It's changed. The color is different. And
Yeah,
there's like, but like nothing else has changed. He's still Joe.
Okay. Uh, I might say, since I'm pretty sure we all know who his teammates are gonna be, but between Shermie and Chris, I like to think Chris will have a redesign then. Cause I mean, at this point in time, I know like his soul has been inside of like Verse or whatever, but he's had to have grown up some, maybe. You know what I'm saying? He's had to grown up a little bit. Like, that might make him look a bit more mature, like maybe a little bit older.
Yeah, maybe.
Then again,
say Shermie, because
yeah,
like
her,
also kind of fashion.
yeah, her too. And it's like they're gonna definitely. I'm pretty sure they're gonna up the fan service ante with her. I'd like to think so. There's that. Who else?
Someone that really could use one, but I doubt would get one, is like K-Dash with Kula. We know K-Dash is getting one. We've seen it on the trailer.
I wonder.
It's the exact same.
I wonder how would you redesign him though?
You could still keep the glove. The rest of the stuff he's wearing does not really do anything other than be cosmetic. He could be wearing literally anything else. Like, wear something more casual, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know if K-Dash is a very casual person. I don't know if he's very casual. I've talked about last time, this guy is like legit a freaking a big gigantic brat in essence then. Like, he might be walking around thinking what he has is cool, but he's like a brat. He's a giant brat. But who knows? Hey, you might be right. Maybe he'll probably be like, man, I want to see if... I guess maybe you want him like to wear like, I guess, lighter colors maybe? Is that what you want for K-Dash?
No, but at the same time, just something new, something a little bit more fresh. The jacket, I'll do something.
Yeah, we shall see. I mean, it'd be interesting to see like if they do redesign him, how. Because it's almost...
really do anything. Her personality is just, I'm a happy little girl with ice powers, and really just, they could really just give her anything.
Well, the thing about her is a lot of people who are not knee deep and hardcore into the series don't realize it, but once upon a time she had red hair. Coola's hair was red.
She does have orange hair, kind of.
Like, she was,
red hair.
Before then she was gingery, so I mean, knowing somebody like that, who's to say she probably wouldn't change it again? I'm just wondering what you would like change it into, like white hair maybe? Because she's wintry, I suppose.
I don't know, maybe.
Jose in the chat, to be honest, I want Rio and Kim to have new designs. Those two look the same since 1994. At least they tried to make Terry's look from FF1 and 14, but decided to go with his FF2 look instead. Kim, it's funny because isn't there like a little running gag going on about him wondering about the physics of his pants?
Yeah, the reason why SNK took 2 years to actually tell us about KOF 14 wasn't because of the pandemic or anything else. It was that entire time of them having to calculate the physics of Kim's pants.
Super Duper in the chat. No, her natural hair is red. It even turns red when she's not fighting. When fighting, her hair changes blue. Okay. So maybe she'll... no, I don't think so. Well, that'd be interesting, like, if she reverted back to her red hair in 15, maybe. But then again, I don't know. I feel like too many people like blue-haired Kula.
It only really makes sense because she has the whole icy. But, with him saying Rio, I feel like with Rio and Kim, their designs don't need to change drastically. Mainly because their design is just, they're wearing a gi. It's like everything else they're doing is like their design, I guess.
Well, with Rio, they've kind of...
Nice.
They what?
Sorry. I would say with Kim, they could give him more of his original design where it has like the Korea flag on it. He doesn't have that in any of his newer stuff.
Ah.
But I don't know.
Okay. Because my thing was with Rio, they kind of have messed around with his design a little bit. Like, especially with. But then again, I guess in that case, I guess Jose's talking about in terms of like the KOF series, because the times when they've kind of tinkered with Rio's design has been other games like Bariki 1 and the times that he has popped up in Fatal Fury. Cause like that's when he looks older. He has the Mr. Karate 2 mantle. He has like in Maximum Impact, he has like facial hair. You know, his gi is not orange anymore. It's actually like grayish or whatnot with like a black belt. So like they've tinkered around with him. Like I think he's one of the few characters in the series that's like aged, or at least showed signs of aging. It's like everybody else is kind of, for the most part, there's like not been nothing really significant. But then again, maybe that's just, you know, switching up the design. I mean, hey, maybe that's the reason why we haven't seen Rio yet, because they're like, ooh, I know y'all are wondering why Rio isn't out yet. We've redesigned him now. Like he's gonna have like, you've seen that one picture of him, like the hand-drawn one there, like where I guess he's doing like an air attack, like he's jumping in the air, and like he has all this like long, almost kind of like freaking Andy Bogart-ish, except it's more messy, like hair. Like he has a really long freaking hair or whatever. Like that's what they're gonna bring back for Rio. KOF 15 is gonna have like freaking long hair, like probably even longer than Rio's though, but he's gonna still kind of, you know, in the face look a little bit older. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because that's the reason why I was drawing blanks. I'm like, I just did not get why people thought that was Rio in that freaking silhouette they put out. I'm like, this person looks too clean to be Rio. Like, if there's one thing you can say, that Rio and Ryu have in common, they both are kind of, I guess, hobo-ish, I suppose. Because, like, if you look at all of Rio's different appearances, then he's very, like, rugged. He's very, like, grimy. Like, he's not... The cleanest he's ever looked was, like... that time he went on that date with freaking King that his family set up. And even still, he wore an orange suit. He still...
Oh my god, did he?
He did! He did!
Oh my god.
Look it up! It was his freaking... I think it was KOF 12 or 11.
I think I remember. It was from KOF 11.
Yes!
Yeah. It shows up in the orange suit, my god.
I think they were going to actually have like a Rio suit alternate for 14 too, I think, along with the whole Mr. Karate 2 thing. I think they were, unless that was Geese. But then again, Geese's hair is like a lot more sleek. Like, it's very slick.
Oh yeah. I like the design from Art of Fighting 2 that Geese had, but obviously that's not going to happen because Geese is an old man, not young. He was in Art of Fighting 2.
Mm.
But, I don't know. Characters that could use a redesign, really, I don't know, maybe Sylvie Paula. I feel like she could have something a little different. Obviously, her whole thing is being messy, at least with, like, her design, but I feel like she'd probably change it up to it'd still be messy. Be a different outfit a little bit, you know.
I wouldn't say I get what you mean by messy though, but like I look at more like tacky, basically. Tacky. I forgot who it was. Somebody out there described Sylvie Paula's design as, I think they said something like if a Christmas gift package banged an Easter bucket or something. Like, it was weird. I'm like, jeez. I'm like, what do you think about in your spare time? You thinking about freaking holiday gift packages doing stuff or whatever?
Yikes.
What the world? But hey, they had a lot of really interesting alternate design ideas for her that just didn't happen. And now that I think about it, putting two and two together with what we're talking about right now, who is to say that some of those unused designs might pop up in 15, serve as an inspiration for a 15 redesign? And also, the thing is, this might not have to be across the board when it comes to KOF 15, but at the same time, with Benimaru, I think it actually makes a world of sense. Because several people in my prediction videos, were talking about this, and they pointed it out that Benimaru's new look with that top of his now meant he was gonna go probably move to China, or basically go there, link up with Shune and Meitenkun, and be on a team hero, which did happen. See, there is actually a connection of some sort there. There is some symbolism with that change. And as I'm looking at the graphic right now, looking at the bit of Iori's trailer, I mean, I don't think that Iori's the little redesign, I think, is anything symbolic. There are several people that have likened it to I think it was a striker for him in one of the striker games or whatever. It's called Another Iori. I think Another Iori had that color scheme, but they upped the ante by giving him the trimming like on his shirt and like on the symbol on his back and like the cuffs on his so I like to think, at least for some characters, you might want to, if you want to redesign them, it's got to mean something. Not across the board, because I mean, some people can just use like a touch up, you know what I'm saying?
Or straight up looks like he's out of like some cologne commercial.
You say he looks like he got some cologne.
It looks like he's from a cologne commercial.
Somebody Iori.
Yeah. It would have like some really basic name. It'd be like Edgy Musk. Some stupid thing.
Speaking of Iori, somebody else in one of my videos had pointed out that apparently that whole storyline with Yashiro really not liking Iori because his band got more of a push than the CYS, the cis band. And the funny thing is, I never looked at like the interview questions for Yashiro. I've never looked at them before, but when I looked at it, it was like the most humorous thing ever, because every single answer to every question until you get towards the end was just, I hate the red-haired guy. 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 And at first I thought about it when I first read through it. I'm like, wait a minute, but you got Shermie right there. And he was like, I wouldn't mind teaming up with a red-haired person, but I also want to beat up the other red-haired person. It's like just look at it. It's like everything is like red hair until he gets to the end. The very last question, he's like, winning is, such and such. Watch this. I'm like, this guy in this red-haired obsession. Oh my god.
Pretty wild.
Oh god. Freaking, I didn't know about that until someone pointed it out to me. I didn't know about that at all. I also found out that during Kula's experiments Ness did on her, it was so intense that it melted her mind back to an infant, which explains why she's so happy all the time. That, my friends, is a very nightmarish version of blissful ignorance. Someone melts your brain and you're just happy all the time. Everything is good. My brain got melted. But can you give me some ice cream? My brain is melted. Can I have some cookies? My brain is melted. Can I have some ice cream with sprinkles? My brain is melted.
She has like some level of intelligence, so she's not like disabled clearly, but it's like, man, you definitely, it's like stuff melted together. It's like, I don't know, it's like, when metal gets red hot or like maybe even white hot?
Yeah.
That. But it didn't fully just melt into this blob. It just became just kind of stuck together. That's basically Kula's brain. Like, I like ice cream because some nurse gave me ice cream. Thing, I don't know. That's not canon. Don't take that from me.
But I think Kula got a better deal than Lambda and BlazBlue, because in one of her bad, I think like it's her bad ending, what basically happens is that her mind, because Lambda's a robot, she got picked up almost in something similar to Ness. Not exactly, but think about some people that just take people and make them into like very, bloodthirsty killing machines or whatever. And like what happened, you first see that Lambda is dreaming that she's with Ragna, which makes her happy and everything. Like, you would think that, like, how in the world is this a bad ending? Like, she's with the guy that she loves and everything. Like, she loves him. They're there together, like, in nature and peace, and they're sitting over there cuddling and all that. But then you find out she's only seeing this because her mind has been shattered beyond belief. Like, she's dreaming up this stuff, but yet it's a fantasy. Her mind in reality has been shattered to a billion pieces. Like,
Shatter all
oh,
great.
oh God, you had to slide. Oh man, why? I gotta freaking pick a better different. I need to start saying something other than shatter from now on. Y'all going to SNK?
It's like,
Why SNK?
I mean, I wouldn't say my expectations haven't been fully shattered by any trailer, but I would say they've definitely surprised me.
I don't know. I don't think surprise all expectations rolls off the tongue that well. I don't think it even makes sense. There was somebody wanted to say here that I wanted to point out. Oh yeah, Jose was talking about, and don't get me started on how Athena changed her clothes. Yes, that was a transformation. That was a transformation. Because I think I remember that being in a discussion somewhere else where they were talking about different characters, like other KOF characters or other SNK characters that could have been in Smash. And someone was talking about something, well, what about, like, because the whole thing about, it wanting to be like a woman or whatever, like a female. There's like, well, what about Leona? And then they were talking about, oh, but they wouldn't want Leona because if you recall, like, she might not be as, like, out there as Mai, but see, she's still, but I'm like, she's so straight-laced. But then you mentioned it last time about, like, the green outfit that she had that looked more like, something that somebody, I guess, amongst the Ikaris would wear. But then, some reason, I guess she loosened up, and then we got the Leona we got now. And it's funny because we've seen her, like, early back in January, and no character trailer has come yet. Like, because part of me wonders, when you brought up the subject of design changes, I wonder, is there anybody that we saw in that first trailer that we haven't seen since then that they haven't shown because something is about to get redesigned or redone?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I bet Ralph and Clark are going to look similar to what they looked like.
Oh, you think they're coming back?
13. Jacked.
You think they're coming back?
I think they're coming back. I mean, they're almost in every single game, basically. Like a mainstay. Terry, or Rio, or those kind of things.
So you don't think that team is going to be shaken up at all?
I could see them shaking it up. I'm not 100% sure how they would shake it up. I feel like the whole thing is the Ikari warriors are military, right?
Right.
Really, anything could happen. Mm-hmm. Like they could put her on a. They could put Leona on a team with, like, I don't know, some other military people, and they could have. It could be like a team like Leona, Ralph, and Whip. Then I don't know. Team Hayden could be Hayden, Clark, and Adelheid or something.
Interesting.
I mean, they could switch it up. They're all part of a unit, except, Adelheid. But honestly, I feel like he honestly deserves to in some way. I feel like Rugal would be too OP. He's Rugal and he has all this weird BS, like, genocide cutter. Oh, you want to jump at me? I don't think so. Don't ever get to jump at me.
I'm
have Kaiser Wave, which does quite a bit of damage and is relatively fast.
Right.
It's not. It's like a slightly slower, but like that thing goes like full screen, and not full screen, but it'll go like, you know what I mean by full screen, right? It will go across the entire screen, like Never mind.
I do feel like one thing that the Yashiro trailer really also increased my faith in is the fact that I do think Rugal will be back. Because now we've gotten like one of the first characters that was amongst that flock that came back to life when Verse vanished, or whatever you want to say.
The reason,
like, and then on top of that, like, OP Rugal might be, that guy is still iconic. That guy has been one of the most missed bosses. Well, in an ironic way, it's like they hate his SNK juiced up form, but boy, like, this guy is a legend. The only thing that still kind of gets me though is just how do you reintroduce him in a storyline like this one? Because yeah, I figured maybe would he possibly be on a team or whatever? Because, you know, at this point with Yori on the Sacred Treasures team, that leaves Vice and Mature, who I doubt are going to be relegated to DLC. But who are they with then? I mean, yeah, they are they're in league with Gonitz, but they hate that guy. They would much rather go over with Rugal. But someone, I think it was JT, I know some of your names that I talked to. Like I said, I really enjoy talking about y'all with this stuff. But he pointed out something that made me walk that back a bit, and that's the fact that, do you think that somebody like Rugal is going to be forgiving towards them, given that every little thing they've done is still fresh in his head? Because someone else brought that up, where it's like, everybody that has been released, or anybody whose soul was inside of Verse, what all do they remember once they're released? Do they remember everything prior to when they got, you know, into Verse? Or do they not? It's a good question.
No.
What do you think?
I think it is, I don't know, I think the thing with Rugal coming back to life is obviously possible because of Verse, but I don't think it's just because the thing you said with Chris and Ishiro is that he's a member of Orochi. People who are members of Orochi have come back to life before, like,
right,
Mature. I think since they're, you know, part of Orochi, and well, they sacrificed themselves kind of to bring Orochi. I guess spoiler alert for a game that's over 20 years old. But
I think they know. They got it.
Since they basically sacrificed themselves, I feel like they'd have a good chance of coming back through the Orochi power. I mean, Vice and Mature did it. Why couldn't they? So, I see Orochi it's just the dark side. It's like you know that one thing from that once really stupid line from Star Wars. It's kind of stupid. You've seen the newer movie, or like the very last one. It's like, outside of the Force has some properties that are considered unnatural. Yeah, that's what I think about when I think of him coming back to life. It's just the stupid Sidious thing.
I hadn't seen that. Ralph and Clark might as well be Kane and the Undertaker of KOF. Well, I mean, they've been around that long. The thing with me is the fact that, and I mean, I understand it doesn't play, I mean, clearly it doesn't really play all that much of a role, because when you look, because one thing that you've seen me do throughout the many prediction videos that I've done, I have always talked about that poll that was done by that one streamer, I forgot his name, about the popularity of KOF 14 characters in KOF 14. But clearly that doesn't fully apply here, because Mason Kun and Shirne were not that popular, and yet here they are again. I always just thought the fact that people really wanted, or like, supposedly, I'm saying supposedly because, I mean, I know those numbers aren't the only ones, but apparently people really like, I guess all the DLC for the most part in 14 were basically fan favorites or desired by fans, with the exception being Najed, because Najed was created like for a contest, which I'm still happy for. Shout outs to the artist Mashael Al-Barak that created Najed. I love you for that because I love that character. Anyways, I mean that. I'm just laughing because whatever.
It's very difficult for me to try and play.
I'll
say that.
But
it's very difficult for me to try and play.
But the reason I bring up the poll is because Whip and Hydern were both DLC, and both of them just so happened to be more popular than Ralph and Clark. Now, I just thought that maybe with this, and you pair it with this whole shatter all expectations, God, I need to start keeping a tally of how many times I say that. But anyways, I was thinking, put those two things together, maybe they will, probably shake up that team. However, it might not be. However, it might not be so across the board though, because everybody, including myself, until a friend of mine told me to walk it back, I kept thinking that they could easily have gotten a new Team Fatal Fury, or like at least a different type of Team Fatal Fury, because the 3 popular characters in that poll were all Fatal Fury characters. But my friend, one of my close friends, shout outs if you're watching, you know who you are, brought up the whole thing is like, I know everybody likes Rock, they love Rock, but SNK has yet to address Rock being canon in this storyline. And it's really difficult to have Rock around if Geese is alive, because Rock did not become the Rock that everybody loves until after Geese is dead. Because
he brings up a fair point, but Rock and Terry still technically hang out, and we know this from his win pose, kind of, because Rock shows up in that. Some of them. It was like 2000 showed up, but yeah.
But they hung. Nah, we cool. But the thing is, they hung out. But it's like because think about it. You know what happened after Geese died? Then Terry pretty much raised him. Like a lot of influence came from that. Now, what you're saying right now, they could easily explain Rock's canon by doing that right there. Rock might be still growing up at this point. But far as like putting him on a team with them, they have yet to like even really, like I said, unless like there is some storyline stuff that we don't know about, which there probably is, because we get little bits and pieces, because we found out about why Team Hero is the way it is. We kind of know about why the Sacred Treasures are the way they are. But there's still a lot of story as far as the lore to be plugged, like, and answered. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing we got really was, like, Sacred Treasures, why Team Hero is the way it is, who all has been confirmed to be alive with Verse going away, and that's about it. Like, we still don't know what is going to become of, I guess, after what even happened with Ash after Elizabeth and Kukri found him. Because some people are actually insistent that that is not a team. Which I'm a little bit kind of sort of walking back a little bit there. But like I said, there's a bunch of plot holes to be there and everything. So not really plot holes, but like stuff we just don't know. And we still have to know about it. You say what?
Good. I don't know why they wouldn't make them make sense for them to be a team.
Well, it's kind of. I could kind of see one reason why, and that is, clearly, despite all that we learned about the relationship with Ash and Elizabeth, Ash is almost like if I would say you take the brattiness of K-Dash, but make it to where somebody like that does not want anything to do with anybody, and he means it. K-Dash basically acquiesces to the people, like for instance, Kula and freaking Maxima being with him, even though, of course, despite how much he might kind of show off that whole edgy side of himself and everything, K-Dash still holds especially like he holds the two of them in some high regard at least, even though he might not show it. Ash is like freaking. But then again, Ash has been on the team before, but that was of course with, I think, wasn't it Duo and freaking Shin?
Yeah.
So
yeah, but he kind of just grabbed those guys. I'm gonna have these guys. You guys come with me because I need teammates. And I think that's why, but I don't know.
Jose in the chat says Rock will be canon in the KOF timeline at some point. SNK Heroines is proof that the limbo is now officially broken. I feel like people looked at SNK Heroines so much like freaking KOF trying to cash in on the fan service stuff that DOA does, like, you know, Tecmo and Team Ninja and all that, but a lot of people forget the fact that it is canon. A lot of people forget that it's canon.
Yeah.
And Super Duper in the chat, I have an idea. Since Verse has the ability to bring other fighters from different universes, why not bring in Rock from the Fatal Fury timeline into the KOF timeline? That is something that I have talked about in some sense. Not on the video, but if you look in comments, because it was one time I was talking to somebody about it. I think it might have been JT again. I know people, especially people that look at fighting game lore and stuff and all that, they probably don't like this because so many fighting games have been using it recently. But I feel like, hey, I feel like time travel or time, you know, bending of some sort will officiate Rock. I mean, like I said, I
love to see that.
So
who would he team up with?
Rock could easily be a solo entry.
I mean, I feel like there's really two ways he could really go with
Or
it.
do you think he's gonna bring any Garu people with him?
I mean, if you were to bring Garu people with him, it could be like Otaro Futaba, because he's gonna help her find her brother apparently, and then probably someone else. I don't know. Oh, maybe we might even get Wild Wolf Terry as a separate character. That'd be.
He's gonna have to. Well, okay, that could work. I'm like, I could give it that. I could give it that.
Could be Rock, Kane, Grant. Purely because of the end of Garo, where with the ending with Garo with Rock. And Kane, I feel like Kane feels like he deserves a spot somewhere in the KOF.
Yeah.
He's cool. He has some mystery, but he's a fun character.
Yeah.
He's a little similar to Ash in how he plays, but I think he's kind of cool still.
The Crimson Boy.
I mean, my favorite character out of that, though, probably will be Grant. Grant is a very fun character to play. He's like a big dude, got all these like crazy moves.
Interesting.
I like Grant quite a bit.
Fabio in the chat says, so Jean D'Arc can make it into. Let me say it right. So Jean D'Arc can make it into KOF 15. That is actually on my current prediction board, and the biggest thing that drove me to that, and it's not really hardcore proof supporting Jean d'Arc, but nevertheless it means I'm pretty sure if they do this again, something is going to change. So when I first started doing this, I overlooked the very clear fact that when you look at Nakororu's team Another World, one of them more than likely is not going to be in KOF 15. That is, of course, Loveheart, because they do not have the rights to her anymore. The only way it's going to happen is if they strike a certain deal. That's about it. Which, who knows? They might actually strike a deal with them to let it fly. Yes, no, maybe so. I don't know.
Also be another way to shake up teams, though.
And the reason why I brought her is the fact that, hey, she was in SNK Heroines Tag Frenzy. Why not ride that wave? And like I said, the way I look at Team Another World is Team Another World, aside from the fact they kind of sort of shoehorn them into the storyline, but aside from that, that team is pretty much part more of like the whole nostalgia pandering, basically. Because all those characters come from fairly obscure games compared to like the ones everyone knows with SNK. If you look at all the other characters, Fatal Fury, Art of Fighting, you got Nakoru, like Samsho, of course, is pretty. Samsho has a cult following, but compared to like, it's no Fatal Fury or AOF. And I'm not dissing the game. I love Samsho. And then of course you got the other two characters that are pachinko characters. Most people, when you talk about pachinko characters, they look at you funny. Pachinko games, that is.
Yeah, I thought that was. I mean, Alice is a pachinko character.
Yeah, like the pachinko stuff was hella present in 14. Hella present. But I would be down for that right there. And like a lot of people don't know, Joan was the first to use the whip sword in fighting games. The first, even before Ivy Valentine. Even before Ivy Valentine. Yep, it's true.
Thing just thought about is, what if a team of characters from Aggressors of Dark Combat?
Aggressors of Dark Combat. Aggressors of Dark Combat. That'd be interesting because Aggressors really didn't have that many standout characters. Like, far as like anybody that could stand out and like be put in a game where it's like, oh, this character's cool. Because they kind of had a guest character with Kotaro, because that was I always call him the red. He was like the red Oni to freaking. Dang it. I think Hanzo Hattori was the blue Oni, but whatever. However, I mean. At this point, I mean, why not put freaking put Bobby Nelson on a team with Lucky Glover, I guess. Freaking team basketball. Oh my god, like I thought the mess with Lucky was silly at first then, but you got this guy Bobby Nelson and he has the mess surgically attached to his hands, like he's over here pushing, like he's doing pump fakes as attacks and jumping up with it like he's gonna do a slam dunk and that's a Shoryuken and everything. He's got a quote-unquote Tatsu where he's holding one leg out and the ball out and spinning around. I'm like, what the heck is this? And the messed up part about it is like Bobby Nelson is the only weapons user in Aggressors of Dark Combat. It's the basketball.
Wow.
Fucking basketball. Oh man. Oh lord. Oh my god. What else you got for me, man? What else you got?
I didn't really have a ton of bullet points for this week because I don't. Oh, I'm trying to think of some other stuff. Oh, I sent you a picture in Discord. I don't know if you saw that before, but
no, because oh, okay. Okay. What is this? What is this? What is this?
Some emails back there, kind of on the side. Something that would.
Dang it! I wish I could make them as larger.
Something that would be cool in KOF, obviously. People have been talking about it, is like a third-party characters team. Like, I don't know. Character, like, you got, like, I don't know, Ryu, yeah.
I would rather they pick anybody other than somebody like from Capcom. I would much rather they pick somebody not from Capcom, because if they do that, it's gonna seem almost like a missed opportunity for CVS3.
Alright, I don't know. Soul Bad Guy.
I mean, you know we got
mean
No,
team
now
up.
I'm not saying like what you said was wrong. It's just like that was just my personal preference. You mentioned
Yeah.
bad guy. It's like, well, we still got that freaking Guilty Gear character coming to Sam show. Speaking of Fabio in the chat, Last Blade team. At this point, why not ride that wave since we got a Last Blade character in Sam show? Psh, why not? Especially seeing that
The only reason I think that couldn't exist,
I'm trying to think.
there's only one reason I think that a Last Blade team couldn't exist, and it's purely because Art of Fighting and Last Blade are within the same place. Take time in different eras. Art of Fighting, Fatal Fury, and Last Blade technically all take place in the same world.
And I mean, in that case, then why in the world is Nakaruru in that timeline? Because of verse. Because verse.
Yeah, but sort of a different world. It's not like a whole like time thing. If you're right to mess with time travel, I mean, I guess the whole thing with Rock maybe, but
I mean, that's the thing. Is like, I mean, they could, but it's like, I mean, we've been messing with time all around. Why can't you mess with time when it came to them? However, I think the mess with Sam show is, I think the stuff with like Hibiki Takane being in Sam show is good enough.
yeah.
I don't like.
Trying to see like characters like Krauser with her, like something like that. I've seen him in a while.
I mean, it depends if Krauser can be relevant again. I'm like, what is he gonna do? Unless is he gonna be like a spectacle team, like where everybody talks about the sports team? Like, is this gonna be like a spectacle team?
He's got the Kaiser wave. He's got the other stuff. I don't know. You could grab him, Lawrence, and some other dude. I don't know, Axelhawk.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, are they gonna be like a spectacle team?
It'd be like Team Germany or something. I don't know.
Germany. Krauser.
Team,
Karasha.
Team Europe.
That's Geef.
Yeah,
My bad.
yeah. It could be like Team
Jose
Europe.
Urbina
I
in the
don't know.
chat said, Jose in the chat says, there was a character in Last Blade that's actually Eiji Kisaragi's ancestor. That is true. The funny thing about it is, I've been seeing a lot of people like doing these little theories where they're drawing like lines between certain like multiple like fighting game franchises within like the same company, and they'll draw like parallels to them. Like I didn't read into it the other day. I saw it, just a headline, but it was somebody, and they had put in the headline, they put in the title that it was a theory, but they were saying that there was a theory saying that Josie and Tekken was like a long Prussian ancestor to Talim in Soul Calibur. It's like I've been seeing so much of this is like they're drawing parallels between like all these different games and everything. It's like I kind of like when franchises do that. I actually dig that a whole bunch, because if you can like execute it perfectly, it can actually make for a pretty good story, honestly. But that's what that reminded me of. There is a character in Last Blade that is ancestor of Eiji Kisaragi. I have to remember it was Kisaragi, because there is a character in a fighting series called Battle Arena Toshinden, and I keep, because that's Eiji Shinjo, which is basically like anime Ryu, but he's younger, more baby-faced boy, has taller hair, and he uses a sword. That's basically what Eiji Shinjo is.
Oh, so you the guy with like kind of like a Biddy Maru haircut?
Kind of, sort of, but like it's... Yeah, he has tall hair, like I said, but yeah, kind of, sort of. Just not as like neat, basically, but that's what Eiji Shinjo looks like. He's basically like, you know, a lean Ryu, but instead, like, you know, instead of using his fist, he has like a sword. Like, he even has like the white gi thing and all that. There you go, Kaede. I'm trying to think, is the dude with the white hair, is that no, I think Maria Minakata had red hair. I think Maria Minakata had white hair. No, he's red hair. how much? You said you didn't have anything else really to touch, like talk about.
I have a ton of things here.
I thought you said you didn't have that much. I was
No, I only had what I had for today was was bullet points.
Go about to say if
it was talking about Yashiro.
Mm-hmm.
His Team CYS returning in KOF 15, and do you think characters will get new designs? That's all I got for this one.
Go about to say, you're ready to do ready for the numbers? You ready for some numbers?
I guess we're about an hour and 15 in, so.
Okay, so I want your input on this then, so it's not just gonna be me. It's not gonna be a me segment. So, unfortunately, I did not get around to getting a video out for predictions, as I said in the Yashiro video that I did when the trailer came out. So instead, just as a treat to some of you here, there, that keep up with me, first of all, thank you for being here. And number two, we're gonna kind of do some KOF 15 somewhat predictions live, so to say. So the big thing that I'm looking at here has to do with how many characters are going to be on this roster. Now, we've discussed this before, but I broke everything down based on how we've seen SNK reveal certain things to us. Yeah. So, let's start from the top. There's 52 Wednesdays in this year that we have here. 52. Now, we did not get the first KOF trailer, not character trailer, the first KOF trailer, the one where we saw Mai, Leona, K-Dash, Kyo. You get it. We got that in the second. We got that within, I think, the second week in January. I think I did a typo here because I said the second Monday, the second Wednesday. So you take away one from that 52, we got 51. At the moment, 11 character trailers have dropped. And of course, they've been putting them out every Wednesday. Now, even with the double reveal we got that 1 week where Chizuru was revealed at the round table.
They didn't do it on Wednesday.
They didn't do it on Wednesday, but still, we could count it as such because, if you recall, SNK took a break. Because I remember they revealed that, I think, the week before the last week of February, because they made that announcement saying there was going to be no trailer until the first week of March. So, since then, we've had 11 trailers. So, you take 11 away, you take 11 away from that 51, we got 40. We got 40. Now, with that being said, we're going back to that first trailer. We saw Kay, Mai, and Leona. They were shown in the inaugural trailer, but we haven't seen their official character trailers yet. So we take away 3 from that 40 and we got 37. Now, here also, you take away 10 because that's 10 for the partners of each confirmed character that has yet to be revealed. That is K-Dash, Mai, Leona, Yuri Sakazaki, and Yashiro. And for the record, I do not think any one of these 5 are going to be on the same team. So thusly, there's 5 of them, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. That's 10. So you take away that 10 from 37. We're down to 27 now. And after that, this is where we can possibly differ, if you know what I'm saying. We could possibly disagree here. And I'm pretty sure we can because I don't have the information on this. This wraps up into a prediction that I personally have. I think, and oh yes, the Chizuru music is playing on my side. Yes. Yes. Just feel it. Just let it feel it. Just come on in. I'm sorry I'm getting like into a mood here, y'all, but I just love the way that sounds. Okay. Enough.
Playing.
Cool. So, prediction here is that I think the final main roster character reveal trailer is going to be on December the 15th. December the 15th will be the last character trailer that we'll see. So, with that being said, that takes away 2 Wednesdays from the month. I mean, not the month, but the year. So you take away 20. You take away 2 from the 27 from the previous step, and we're down to 25. So now, 25 at this point, based on my predictions, that's how many remaining Wednesdays there are, and possibly character trailers. So now we take that. Now we start working a little bit backwards. Now we're going to add 10 to that 25, because that's the 10 yet to be confirmed partners of all the confirmed characters that are not on the team yet, and I still stand by it. Those 5 characters I mentioned, K-Dash, Mai, Leona, Yuri Sakazaki, and Yashiro, they are not on the same team. I'm sticking with that. So add 10 back to the 25. We have 35 now. With that being said, plus 3 on that 35 for Mai, Kay, and Leona. We've seen them, but we haven't seen their trailers yet. And I doubt that I doubt that they're going to relegate them to DLC. I really doubt that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So now we're up to 38 now. We're up to 38. And so now add 11 to that 38. We got 49. That's 11 for all the confirmed characters that we have thus far. So now we take 49 and we divide that by 3 for 3 characters to a team. That is 16 trio teams and a solo entry. That is the crazy math that I've done. And I did that, and I kind of looked at my current predictions, and I had to, in order to like be within the threshold that I put together, I had to axe 4 teams. And I don't know how I would do that. However, I'm gonna note a couple other things that might. What's up?
What was the final number you came up with?
49.
49.
Because basically what I did in the beginning was shave off all like the Wednesdays and all that stuff, and then we added back on some of the stuff we took away, because we added back on everything that we know. The only thing, like, now I will admit there's a couple of things that will definitely possibly screw this up. One, if one of those 5, well, if even one of those other characters that I mentioned, the 5 that they're confirmed but not on a team yet, if any one of them happens to be on the same team, then yes, this kind of does fall apart. But I doubt that. The closest that you will get to like any one of them being on a team is if it's Mai and or Leona. Well, excuse me, rephrase that. Mai and / or Yuri Sakazaki or Leona. That's the only way it could happen, because clearly they are not a team, because there's 3 women there, but we did not get the graphic that showed that they were on the same team. So, no. Now, here are some things that might also break up this little bit of math that I did. These numbers. One thing is, of course... What's up?
Okay, never mind. It fixed itself.
What's up? Is that?
Your mic audio dropped for a second there in quality, and then it...
Well, I probably was like trying to pause and like not ramble too much. But now here are some things that might also break up this bit of numberage, this crazy math that I've been doing. Okay. One is the fact I mentioned it earlier, and that's the fact that there are some teams that from my last prediction video, I would have to remove 4 teams for it to be at least 16. And I'll put it like this. I'll say it here now, but I might reiterate it again in the next video just in case. I know everybody doesn't watch the podcast, but just to keep everybody up to speed. But one, as far as teams to remove, one team, and I think you kind of alluded to this earlier, and that's the fact that I might remove the team that I had with Goro and Shingo on it. Because unfortunately, now that we have confirmation with his 2 partners from the previous game being on teams, I cannot see Goro leading a team himself. Who knows? We might see him, we might see his trailer next. I don't know. But given his 2 partners who are much popular than he is, And I've seen other people speculating that Goro might be done for, especially with this whole shatter expectations, and then the teams will be composed much differently. So more than likely, I'm gonna remove that team from my prediction board. The other team I'm gonna remove is probably Team South America. I've mentioned before that I like all three of those characters. I think they're cool. However, I will acquiesce to the point that they really did not have a lot going on with them as far as like story. And unfortunately, from what I understand, looking at like the general population, like not the general population, but like the general, I guess the fandom or whatever, looking at the poll, not really that popular. None of them. So there's a chance that I might cut that team. Also in my predictions, I had 2 new teams of new characters. I don't know about getting rid of both of them, maybe one, but I don't know. I have a feeling that there can be some new characters in this game, so I don't know what to do with that. The next thing that might throw a wrench in this, and that is, of course, Evo. We've been seeing reveals every single Wednesday throughout this year, for the most part. And take into account that 1 week where we got 2 reveals instead of 1. We got a bonus reveal for what was basically a big event, or a special event, if you will. And that was the roundtable. Evo is set to be online this year after the acquisition from Sony, August the 6th through the 8th, and the 13th through the 15th. Regardless, I'm pretty sure you know it, Syrin. I know it. You all know it. But aside from exciting matches, you know that these companies come sometimes with some really big hype announcements.
I think they could potentially reveal during these big events, not just characters, but teams.
Exactly. That is exactly what one of my friends had said right there. They think that when we get to this point, there's going to be a team reveal in Evo, not just a character, but team or multiple teams. They even said like it's not going to be like with the Chizuru thing. What's up?
The same thing would go for E3 or something.
Yeah.
Like I could see them revealing a team at E3.
Yeah. But then they said on top of that, it's not just going to be like a new team and it's like, we'll take 3 weeks off. Like, no, they're still going to keep revealing characters. Which brings me, of course, to like the last thing that might throw a wrench in this. 2 things, actually. One is the fact that, are there going to be any other special occasions for special reveals? Maybe. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, it might happen. Yes, no, maybe so. But events like that, you know, because tournaments and such, they are not very plentiful at the moment. So, shrug. And the last one is the fact, and this is something that even I believe, and there's the fact that there's bound to be more than one solo entry. And I'm saying that because when I took the number that I had a remainder of 1, aka 1 solo entry, I'm fairly confident there's going to be more than one solo entry. We've seen this before. There's been more than one solo entry back when Kyo and Iori were like going solo. There was more than one solo entry when it came to 13 because it was Psyche, Ash, Billy. There was a solo. There were 2, I think, also technically in, if you don't count the DLC, in 14, Verse and freaking Antonov. So, I mean, if you want to call them that, like some people like don't call people like Antonov and Verse solo entries. They're sub or mid bosses / main bosses.
Yeah.
So
I think the thing is, a lot of these games, though, typically have 1 or 2 solo entries Like even KOF 2002 had all the like Kyo clones, and like I think Nameless wasn't on that particular team either. I could be wrong about that.
No, he wasn't.
But I'm pretty sure he.
You're right.
Yeah. Like I don't know, there could be potential solo entries.
Jose in the chat says KOF 15 had way too many newcomers, new characters that anyone barely even played. Basically, just saying like there was way too many new characters in 14 to the point where nobody really played them. Comparatively speaking, I guess I can agree with that. Because, yeah. I mean, I'm thinking about that, plus also looking at that poll. Because, like I mentioned earlier, I was surprised to see that, Gong Gil was apparently a meta character. Surprised to see people playing Verse in tournaments, so that was interesting.
Yeah.
There was somebody even playing Zarina, which made me happy because I love Zarina. But
Man, I don't find that surprising with Zarina. She has some relatively good moves in there.
But yeah, like I don't think the newer characters, like I don't think like most of them had that much of a big impact, far as like a big impression on the fandom or the community. Like the ones I can think of that probably had the best impression on anybody is probably Luong and maybe Kukri, I want to say. As far as like being big time favorites. Because what other new characters were there? Like I said, I personally like Team South America, but they weren't that popular.
Najad
actually was very popular. Well, you saw a lot of her, but unfortunately, and I hate to put it like this, but it is the stone cold truth. Najed unfortunately came in at a time where King of Fighters 14 was declining in popularity when you put it next to stuff like Street Fighter and Tekken and all of that. Like, that's why 13, which, like I said, I get the appeal of 13. By the way, the freaking saxophone theme for Orochi and Amaron. You really freaking knocked it out the park with this playlist. Good job, man. But anyways, no problem. But yeah, she came in at a time where, unfortunately, the game was like kind of declining in popularity. And I don't think that Najed single-handedly brought like a revival or whatever. And y'all know I love this character. I am not trying to bury Najed, far from it. But I think the big draw for it was Rock, really. Like even the few people I played KOF with around where I live then, they were wondering when was Rock coming in? When's Rock? When's Rock? When's Rock? When's Rock? So, but Najed did get a lot of play in for what I saw in the competitive scene. Because I remember looking at like some of the standings at the results, and like Najed was on like a nice chunk of teams. So yeah, I said Najed. I don't think Najed was a flop. I'll put it like that. Najed wasn't really a flop. Team South America, I love them personally, but all of them were flops. All of them were flops.
I think Antonov did alright.
Yeah.
Seemed to like him, I think, from what I remember.
Yeah, Antonov, I think, had a cool factor to him then, which is really good if you can make somebody like that, a character like that, like, you know, the big, strong freaking guy, when you can make people like them and they're not too much of a carbon copy of another character. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like I said,
yeah.
I mean, the guy is, what more could you ask for? Somebody throwing his back at you and yet he's actually taunting and flexing at the same time. I mean, so yeah. Him, Xanadu, I personally like, but from what I'm seeing, Xanadu wasn't super popular. He was down there with freaking...
massive.
He was down there with Gong Gil. So...
I do like Gong Gil, though. He's kind of fun.
Unfortunately, they did not develop him all that well. Like, maybe
Really,
it's
what I think they gotta do if they bring him back is they gotta give him more moves from like maybe his other disciples.
yeah, like that, or
I
just
think,
put a little extra on it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Like, even when I play him, I sometimes feel like he's missing a move here or there, and I'm like, dude.
And I mean, I think he got upstaged by his girlfriend, so.
Yeah.
Cause man, one of my friends like that played 14 with me more than anybody. He is in the military right now, and down where he is now, they play a lot of fighting games. Like it's more of a smash centric area, but he described Luong's level 3 to them, and they were like, "You got to pull this up. We got to see this." Like. And then like they would wonder like who is she?
Climax Super.
Yeah, they would wonder like who is she or whatnot. And they tell them, well, you know, she's this dude's girlfriend or whatever. It was like, man, this guy's boring. So it's like he clearly got upstaged by her badly, which I don't think you can help it then. But yeesh.
Yeah.
Who else? Who else is new? Loveheart, like I said, I thought Loveheart was that character that nobody would care about, but I don't know if I just had the luck of the draw, but when I started my prediction series, there was boatloads of freaking Loveheart fans. There were boatloads of them. It was like, no, Loveheart rocks, we're so upset that the freaking copyright's keeping her out of the game. And I agree with you there, Jose. Yeah, they gotta really do that. I love Najet's design. Like, I love her playstyle, but we have got... If they bring her back, which I hope they do, but we've got to freaking get a story. I mean, I'm pretty sure somebody rustling Kim's jimmies is not that freaking... It's pretty cool, but come on, you gotta give us something else. Because right now, we still don't know exactly who would Najet have a good relationship with. Like, we still don't know.
Team Doom and Gloom, you got Najad, you got Kukri, and you got
people like Kukri. I mean, people really like Kukri, and I mean, it's not even so much like his playstyle. Like, they just like the way the character looks. Then probably because like you look at him and you think you're getting one thing, but you get another. Because you would look at him one time and thinking like, oh, here we go, the freaking angry edgelord. I fucking hate all you people. And I freaking little girls. It doesn't matter. I'm in it for the money anyway. And to look at the hot chicks. That's why SNK Heroines was made. Like, you think like somebody like that is just gonna have like a bunch of dark powers, like a freaking strong person. But what is he doing? Throwing around sand. What?
I mean, I wouldn't really consider him super edgy. He's just like a weirdo.
That man, yeah, I don't know. He kind of edgelordy.
Outfit.
He's kind of edgelordy to me.
To me, he's just a weirdo man in a dark outfit trying to cover his face.
Well, you know, given the fact, I guess I can hand you that because given the fact that he was over that tournament and we found out it was all his thing, I guess I can give you that. I guess he was he was being a pretender, I guess.
Yeah.
He was being a freaking pretender, like, yeah, I'm edgy or whatever, but I'm just here to freaking check out, like... Loveheart is still in copyright hell along with K49.
We got a little guy named Nameless. Now, I don't know if you hear about him, but it's basically the same.
How do you hear about somebody that doesn't have a name?
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, well, I guess you technically do, because you hear he doesn't have a name.
He technically has a name, but the name isn't very exciting, because it's basically no name. My name's Nameless.
Mm-hmm. I did a dumb sketch in one of my freaking videos. I think it was the one talking about, like, characters with weird names or whatever. And I had this sketch where this random guy in the streets, I guess, meets Nameless or whatever. Yeah, hey, so what's your name? I'm Nameless. You don't have a name? Nameless. Well, I'm gonna call you Dan. My name is Nameless. Jose in the chat, I appreciate like your input, man. I really appreciate it. Let me toss this to you right here first, Syrin. Could Shermie be teaming up with Angel?
I doubt it. Don't really got too much in common other than being wrestling chicks with interesting choice in clothing.
So
I guess, but couldn't really see it much.
all right. I don't really see it either. Like, you want to talk about a team that really sticks together? The band is definitely it. The band is definitely it.
Yeah.
However, if we see some type of shakeup, then I would love to see why. Maybe Shermie left because apparently because Yashiro was bad at letting people like being clear about what redheads he doesn't like. It's like, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about the other one, the one that got our band freaking, we didn't get a chance to rock out or whatever. Like, it's like
Chris ate the last dumpling, and now she's leaving.
Oh god.
Not this Chris, the other one.
He's getting in on it. I think I miss Shuichi. But there's that. What are you talking? Jose said that's savage. I wonder what it was because me and freaking Syrin cracked a bunch of jokes there. Let me know exactly what you're talking about is savage. I want to know. Something else he put here that was interesting. Notice that Maxima and Cooler are not with K-Dash in the very first trailer. Could this mean K-Dash is gonna be teaming up with someone else?
Oh, anything is possible.
Go ahead and say it. I know you want to say it.
Shatter all expectations.
I need to embrace it. Speaking of, I'm glad I told you to say that because I didn't notice. I'm just gonna freaking take the one graphic that you have like with the lights on there saying the Shattering. I'm gonna put it like in a separate like playlist or something because I have one of the older ones without it. So let me make sure because I like it with the neon lights on there better. If you ask me, look, SNK has really been playing with everybody's emotions and playing with everybody's speculations and stuff. When it comes to these trailers, they've really been playing around. Like Team Fatal Fury, for instance. Team Fatal Fury. Everybody was thinking because I know people were coming at me when I walked back my Terry Rock Mary team. It was like everybody keep talking about they're gonna be on everybody keep talking about they're on the same team. How can maybe they might get shaken up then or whatever? Maybe they'll be on 3 different teams. It's like, see, that's how they get you. That's how they get you. And I'm pretty sure that's what they're gonna do with the K-Dash team.
Probably will. I don't know who they team them up with other than maybe like a Whip or something.
I mean, people really like Whip. I mean, maybe it's Whip's time. Maybe it's Whip's time to shine. Maybe she's not going to be DLC this time. I mean, I don't know. But if the game really is going to cut out what people saw as very unpopular characters, maybe Whip might replace Maxima. But I almost look at K-Dash's team when you look at him with Maxima and Kula, and I look at it almost as like there's like a perfect dynamic here. There's such a perfect dynamic, and it's like, do they really want to give that up? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, yeah, them and the Ikaris get along very well, but I just don't know. I really don't get it. I mean, not that I don't see why they would get rid of and like let go of that dynamic. I really do not get it.
Yeah.
But we shall see. Maybe that's the reason that we've seen them. And I mean, honestly, what you said there, make sure to get in. Yeah, they're not with him in the first trailer. Well, I mean, freaking Mai. You could say the same thing about Mai and freaking Leona. Yeah, it's like because. Like I said, I'm still of the opinion that all of them are on like different teams. All of them have to be on different teams. They've got to be.
I'd assume so as well.
Props to the person that guesses the women fighters team correctly, because like I said, that is a very, very, very diverse team. That is a very diverse team.
I mean, who's gonna lead it now that she's not on a team with like Andy or something, or that we know that she's not gonna be on a team with Andy?
Right.
I feel like she could probably lead that team, because like what else would she do? She's just you gonna lead a team with Banderas and Ijiki?
But the big question,
art of fighting.
But the big question is who are gonna be our partners though. That's where like the diversity is, because that team has had, I think, probably when it comes to classic teams. Say what?
Alice, I feel like.
That would depend if they still want to like invest, like, you know, I don't know. Like I said, I like Alice. I don't know the general consensus of Alice. Everybody that I've talked to about her seems to think that she's actually all right. So, I mean,
it's like a mix between the Fatal Fury characters.
Yeah, and like I said, they could totally do like a storyline where she's like. I mean, I know it's kind of stupid, but I mean, people like stuff like this. But it's like somebody who goes from like just being a fan, and then it's like they start developing more of their own style. Like, you know, they put more of their own twist on, you know, what Terry does and all that, like the Fatal Fury style. Basically just evolving into more of her own character. Like, I was trying not to say it, but I mean, hey, it's whatever. But like a Sakura in Street Fighter, you know, she's kind of a Shoto clone, but the character continued. She grew more into her own style of things. Like, so I still feel like I don't know. I'm just still wondering where Vanessa fall, to be honest. I really do.
Vanessa would even. I mean, she's quite popular, but who knows? I feel like if they were to do Vanessa again, it could be like Vanessa, Seth, and someone else. We haven't seen Seth in a while. He's kind of fun. It'd be like Vanessa, Seth, and
Lynn is actually pretty underrated too.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I would say maybe like Dulon and someone, but also I don't think Lynn likes Dulon. I don't know.
I just don't see why they won't put.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just don't see why they won't want to put like Vanessa like on the freaking women fighters team for once. I mean, like she's been in like all their endings, and she usually like kind of instigates like some of the barroom brawls that happen sometimes or whatever. I know she instigated it in 13. 14 was just King was like, you know, hey, Rob, pay for us.
Sure.
Pay for our food, pay for this person's food, pay for that person's food.
I mean, he's much older though than the other team members.
I mean, but that's when you want somebody like, maybe I'm just thinking from my perspective. And then, like I said, maybe it's because I just don't want to see Vanessa be DLC again, because come on, man, back-to-back DLC and come on, man. Back-to-back games, DLC, come on. Y'all gotta have more sense than that, SNK. You gotta have more sense. You've got to. Credit. Just
saying you have NASA, Heavy D, and what's his name? He's from Fatal Fury 2. Not Wild Condition. Fairy.
Man loves his Fatal Fury characters. The man Syrin loves his Fatal Fury characters. Kane hates you for that though.
He's the boxer, basically, that gave Vanessa her moveset. It's Fatal Fury.
To my Stroud? To my Rick?
Rick, yeah.
Yeah, Stroud.
Rick, Shroud, Vanessa, and I guess Heavy D or Axel Hawk or something. I don't know.
I feel like they should put. I feel like they should put. Well, I don't know. I mean, I was about to say they should probably try to put Nelson in there, but then again, I don't know. Maybe he hasn't shaken the Team South America stench off of him. Maybe. I just like his more different approach when it came to like the boxing. Like his style was like so weird, but like it was at least something different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Wow, the Grant theme just kicked in.
What else you got here? What does it mean for Leona? Will she remain with the Ikaris or some other team like military related? I think we discussed that. I think Syrin is firmly in the camp of the Ikari original 3.
Yeah. Well, not original 3, because technically the original 3 was, instead of Leona, it was Haydn, but the one that people most recognize.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't care. Sometimes your first ain't the most known.
Yeah. I'd say I wouldn't like to see Haydn again, because Haydn is one of my favorite characters. It's really fun.
I'm about to say he was more popular than Clark and Ralph were, though. Like him and like, and at least in that particular poll, him and Whip were like way ahead of them, way ahead.
That's why I could see maybe Haydn and Whip being on a team with someone else.
I mean, that's still.
I usually say Adelaide.
I mean, that's still technically. That would still technically be an Ikari team if you think about it.
Who else would join though?
That's what I'm saying.
Would
like,
it be one of the Ikari warriors? Would it be?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I keep saying Adelaide. Would it be third members? Like I don't know, maybe like what's the assassin's name? Oswald.
Ozzy.
I don't know what happens.
Somebody told me about Ozzy. Like, it's not that I don't want him in the game. It's just that I don't know where to place him. Like, when I do my predictions there, I don't want to just throw characters at the board. I want to at least have like a team, or at least have something situated there, because someone's like, you should put them up there. It's like, I don't want to just throw characters at the board. Even though, I mean, that wouldn't be too bad, I guess. You know, you throw them at the board and then you try to make teams out of that, but what's the fun in that?
I mean, I think with Oswald, there's a very slim chance for him to join with Shen and Dulon.
Yeah.
I don't know if Shen would forgive him since the ending in 11, and I don't know. I would like to see Shen again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Shin definitely. Jose also brought up the fact, like, what Yashiro said. Oh yeah, the whole thing about him hating redheads. Like, I always wondered about that. I'm like, you got one on your team. Like, how do you hate them? And then again, I guess one of them is Iori and one of them's a hottie, so maybe he doesn't really care. I don't know. Gaidel is pretty much resurrected now. This could be an interesting storyline for Lee. Oh, yes, absolutely. I just thought about that. Yeah, Gaidel, her father's alive. I just thought about that. Team dads? Like, is it going to be freaking Saisu, Jeff Bogart, and now Gaidel? The freaking dad team?
Yeah. Would Saisu and Gaidel get along, though? One's Orochi.
No.
And then the other is...
I doubt it. I doubt they get along. Unless, like, Kyo and Niori are like, hey, look at here. You see, we put our differences aside here. I still can't stand this freaking ginger idiot or whatever, this ginger emo loser, but we're the Sacred Treasure Trio.
3 Sacred Masters?
You say what?
3 Sacred Masters? Friends.
3 Sacred Masters. Yeah, like...
You got Yu's dad. You got Saishu. You got Gaidel. All very similar, but so all very different. I don't know how that would work.
Like I said, like that's the only way I could see those two coexisting. There is like if Kyo and the set, I was like, look, we put our differences aside. How about you guys do it too? If we can, if I can sit over here and stay with this freaking emo loser, you can too. Come on. 3 Sacred Dad team. Do it. Nah, no way. But I do think Guidel might play some type of role in this game than, like, I guess, as far as Leona becoming reacquainted with him, I suppose, if that's the word to use.
Never get why people think Jeff Bogart's coming back. Like, I get it that there was that ending with Shunei.
Right.
Like, at the same time, I don't know. I feel like it's just Kung Fu Roo just looking back at his disciples. I never really saw it as, like, I don't know.
Well, now that you think about it, I'm honestly kind of leaning towards maybe Jeff might not in roster. Because the reason why everybody was talking about Jeff Bogart, especially as you mentioned with that trailer, but the ending with Team China. But additionally, this was around the time when we got Shunei trailer, we got Mason Kun's trailer, and then in came everybody guessing about teams. And everybody saw that particular trailer basically thinking that, their third member, like the third member, freaking Shunei and Mason Kun's partner, it's got to be one of these people that freaking Master Tung Fu Roo is thinking about. Fast forward, we found out that that wasn't the case. It just so happened to be somebody who is almost kind of, I think, has barely any connection to any one of those people that he had on his mind. Tung Fu Roo's, that is. We got Benimaru instead, and he was told by Kyo to do it. So, I don't know. At this point, I mean, like I said, I'm kind of, because I think if, like, going by the numbers that I've done, I would like to think that, albeit it might be bad, Rugal is going to be the one that's going to come back. Now that we got one person confirmed, and now on the roster, that was resurrected as a result of everything with Verse. But, and part of me even wonders, like, how the world would Jeff Bogart even play?
I feel like he'd be similar to. I feel like he'd have some similarities to Terry, but also have some similarities to like Geese and Tong. Like, I don't know.
Mixture of master
like
and son. That what
I
you're
feel like
thinking?
he'd have crack. Only thing I think he'd have crack shoot as like one of Terry's moves, and maybe like power wave. But like everything else is like something else. Because from what I remember, I don't know. The only reason I say that is because, at least with the crack shoot, is because in the King of Fighters Destiny, yeah, I know it's not canon. When he fights Geese, he basically does a move that's basically crack shoot against him.
Interesting. Jose also is like, makes me wonder, is Leona going to follow the same path as Rock did, like in his arcade ending from Garu Mark of the Wolves?
Follow Kane?
I can see where it's coming from there, because it's like more of that, figuring out self and all that, finding out like the truth and everything, and because Rock kind of, it's like that storyline you see with a lot of people, like characters that are orphans. They want to go back, they want to figure out who their parents are, what they did, what royalty they might have come from, or did they come from the slums, am I part of some dynasty, and like if I go back home, will I get the crown or whatever? Because I mean, Leona really has just been living with like an adoptive father, if anything, because that's all Hydern really is.
Yeah, something I just thought about, because the like the KOF theme like played for a second, I think. I just thought about what if, since there's this whole time travel stuff,
Right.
what if, not time travel, but this whole like verse reality crap,
Mm-hmm.
what if at the end of this, the whole KOF timeline gets reset? Because think about it, they've done some stuff that has had similarities to the first game. In terms of like the first trailer, literally had the same music from King of Fighters and had some other things. They've shown retro music in some of these. I think those are just references, but like, I don't know. I feel like there's potential for that to happen.
It could be. Very much
Especially
so.
since Verti, who's kind of pulling the realms together.
Right. Jose pointed out that Hyder did team up with Saisu and Takuma in KOF 98 as the Masters team, but it very much was likely a dad team. It's not canon, but he just wanted to bring that up, so I mean, maybe that might be it.
Yeah.
Maybe it might be Saisu, Hyder, and Takuma, but that would knock a bit of a hole in my prediction about the AOF family team. You know,
Could be they could fill the gap of Takuma with like
alter
you know,
ego.
well, I was gonna say Gangil or like
They should do
even
that.
Jack.
They should do that, honestly. Maybe put like Gongil on another team. I need somebody said like in the manga for I think 14. I think Kim was seen with somebody else. Like I guess Chang and Choi maybe. I'm not sure. I'm really curious.
I don't want to see that.
I'm curious as to like whether or not he's gonna shake off like his freaking mentor and his freaking girlfriend or whatever. I mean, I don't mind freaking Luong, but it's just Gong Il though. It's like, ugh.
If it was Kim, Jaehoon, and like name,
Mei Lee Jinju.
sure, maybe Mei Lee or Mei Lee, Kim, and what's his name? John. Jaehoon.
All this time, I never paid any attention to it until when I was walking my friend through because he had just gotten into KOF 2002 Ultimate Match. I did not know about it. So what?
Jaehoon?
John Hoon. But no, like, I was walking like it through like different characters and stuff, like even the lore and playstyles with a friend of mine that just got into 2002 UM, and I totally did not know like the team that I forgot the other two characters, unfortunately. But Mei Lee Jinju's freaking partners there, I did not realize they just basically that was legitimately the Women Fighters Mark II. They just called themselves the Pretty Girls team.
Wow.
I did not because the only one I thought was cool in that team was Mei Lee. Really, that's about it. Like the other two really just did not catch my attention. But yeah, they called themselves the Pretty Girls team.
The Women's Fighters, I just had a thought. What if it's Mai, Luong, and Alice?
I mean, did Luong and them get like along? Like, did she? Oh my god, the rhymes. Did like she develop any type of friendship with Mai and I guess other women fighters and or whatever? I need to look into that game.
No, but this would be the first time that just grabbed random girls. The Women's Fighters. We've kind of done that before.
I wouldn't be against that team. I would not be against that. I mean, like I said, I played all three of them, so that would be at least finally for the first time in a minute. That would be like a full canon team that I would play. But
Got a question.
You got what?
A question for you.
What's up?
You could have Team Capcom composed of any characters you want. Who would it be?
In KOF 15?
Sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with the team that I had like in the one video I did. Make it Cody, Guy, and Maki. Because Cody and Guy have never gotten a chance to really mix it up with like anybody in the SNK. Like Cody and Guy were not in either one of the none of the CVS games. They weren't in, not that I can remember, in SVC, were they? I don't think so. No.
The only,
because they were like in the card. Because they were in the card games. Like the only time like they really even like cross paths with anybody, Cody and Guy that is, with anybody, really just the freaking card games, which I don't consider those. Like not so much because I didn't play them, it's because they're not fighting games. I hate to sound like a purist, but they're card games.
Yeah. Had an ideal Capcom team.
Yeah, like Cody and Guy were. Yeah, Cody and Guy weren't in SVC Chaos. And I like Cody and Guy a whole bunch, and I would like.
The only character from Final Fight that got into the SVC Chaos was the big guy with the purple outfit.
Hugo.
I had to choose an ideal Capcom team. It would probably be Goken, Akuma, probably Ryu. He's probably my favorite Capcom character, purely because he's the only one I really play that much, apart from maybe like Dan.
You got a hole in a Capcom team you're trying to put into a guest character, oh my god, I messed it up so bad. But basically, you got a hole left like in the team that you're trying to import into another game. Oh, you didn't put Ryu in there? Put Ryu in there.
Yeah.
I would much rather like they get somebody like freaking like maybe Kage, you know.
Kage would be cool.
Like somebody new, you know, Kage, Manat, freaking like I know I'm naming new characters, but it's like I don't want to like look at a team and just think like, wow, like they could have legitimately gotten a freaking, they could have legit got like freaking CVS 3, but we got CVS 3 Lite in the form of like a team, a Capcom team.
We kind of got that in Tekken 7, to be honest.
That's about as close as it'll get, to be honest. That'll be as close as we'll get, which is kind of messed up. It had to be another game. The only
thing I think they would do, probably, if it was as I said before, and I've probably said more than once, is probably they would just do just a couple of characters from different companies. Like I think an SNK. No, they of course they'd have SNK characters in an SNK game. They have a Namco character. I think they'd have probably Capcom character, and probably, if I had to guess, maybe an Arc Systems character.
I would much rather they just like play into the whole thing where Geese freaking showed up, where Heihachi was meditating. Just go for a Tekken team. On top of that, that'd be groundbreaking because, like, in a way, so what? Because we haven't seen like we haven't seen Tekken in a 2D verse since Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I mean,
they're technically KOF All-Star, but who really counts that?
I don't. That's why I didn't say it.
Yeah.
Like I understand. Like I mean, but then again, like everybody's in freaking All-Star. Freaking like
Rock.
A lot of the if you look at like my Team Wish video, like a lot of the backdrops I use for every single like number or whatever, it was lifted from like promos from KOF All-Stars. They freaking put the WWE characters in freaking KOF All-Stars. That is a crossover upon crossovers there. Once upon a time, like when KOF was just like in its first phase or whatever, like when it first became a thing, some people called it Guest Fighters the fighting game because, I mean, it was a big crossover.
Yeah.
AOF, freaking Fatal Fury, and you had some obscure games get some representation, and then, hey, who's this freaking schoolboy guy with the freaking Ryu headband? Well, I forgot, never mind. Ryu's headband is red, but, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Jose in the chat says he would like to have Goken, Ryu, Ken Masters from Street Fighter 4 and lore, and KOF 15 like how Akuma invaded the Tekken universe. So basically, he would want them to be canon. Now, if it came to a Capcom or Street Fighter character or whatever, if it came to one of them becoming canon to the universe, I'd be down for it. I'd be totally down for it.
Yeah.
I just don't like, I mean, hey, if you can't give us CVS 3, pulling something like having Akuma being like a part of the canon, or like any character, whatever character you pick, every characters you pick, being part of the canon like they did with Akuma, that's big. That's big. That's big. Like, however, I mean, hey, and that could even like if I could imagine this. This is like, I'm already getting like an idea of like what that could blossom into. Let's say it actually happens. We get a Capcom team in KOF 15. And not just a guest character team, not just any old guest character team, just to get some extra bucks and to get more eyeballs on the game. But no, they are canon. And let's say that the turnout is like really good, like the impact that it has exceeds what they were expecting. More than likely, after seeing that, both companies should be convinced above all that CVS 3 should happen. And let's say, for instance, such an impact actually makes it happen. Not only are you bringing CVS 3 back, but you could also build towards it.
Yeah.
Like, have an ending for that team when you play all 3 of the Capcom characters, or if it's Street Fighter, whatever it is, Capcom. Their ending freaking teases the ever-loving glory and purity, honey and tea, and all great things that you love in their ending. They tease that CVS 3 is coming. And then on top of that, there's a big, fat storyline for CVS 3. Not only are you bringing back a franchise that everyone's been asking for the longest of time, but now the hype is off the charts. And then then having a storyline with it there, now you can have more time to experiment with like single player content. You know, story mode or whatever. It could kind of be something like what they did with Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. Like, that'd be a hell of a build right there. Only if it builds towards CVS 3, I'd like a Capcom team to be a guest character team in here, because if it's just a one-off, then I'm gonna feel like it's a blown chance. Now, I know that might be a little bit too mean, because, I mean, hey, stuff happens with companies, and sometimes you draw the money you need, sometimes you don't, but geez, man. Just geez, you would look at that and it's like, man. And part of the reason why I came up with that whole scenario in my head is because I'm still standing by it to this day, and I'm not just saying it's like a cheap ploy, but Akuma being canon in the Tekken universe, I am still insistent to this day that that right there is them planting the seeds for Tekken Cross Street Fighter. That is my theory. A Shattering podcast theory.
I guess that'd be pretty good. Shattering podcast theory. That's just a theory. A shattering theory.
We got ourselves a new segment.
No.
It's gonna be your turn. It's gonna be your turn next week. You gotta drop the most craziest freaking tinfoil hat freaking theory that you have about the future of, or it could be something just as simple as like these characters are related or something. How does that sound? How do y'all like that? A new segment.
The boss from Galaga and Terry Bogard are the same person. You've never seen them in the same room.
Hey, hey, stop. If you're gonna do that right there, you better write it down. You better get your research done, because you're on next week. You're on next week.
Okay.
If you can't cook up, if you can't
entire break.
If you can't cook up something, it's fine.
Yeah.
Just throwing out ideas, trying to make like, you know. All right, I'll take one more from we're over the 2 hour. We're over the 2 hour hump then, but I freaking love the contribution that Jose is bringing us, and this last question seems really interesting. So we will hit this one up right here, and we will call it a night.
All right.
Do you think that jobber named Shingo Yabuki will be in KOF 15? He's pretty much been missing since KOF 11, which was back in 2005, or 2002 Ultimate Match, which was back in 2009, but don't know if that counts. All in all, we're just talking about is Shingo going to be back? Even though I have honestly, well, matter of fact, let me hold up, because freaking Syrin, I think Syrin got a Super Saiyan aura going. I think he has something. Go ahead.
Oh. I think he could potentially return. I think there's DLC or something like that. I don't know if he'd be on the main roster though, because he seems like a solo entry kind of thing, in my opinion. Unless he's got some crazy team where he's like, okay, so hey, you Alice, I know you also are with me. How about you come with me? Hey, who else? Oh, you're a new guy. You're a Yori's trained person. Yeah, you. Little sister, come here.
So basically, you look at Shingo as like he's picked, like, Shingo basically goes around and he picks up people that haven't been on teams yet, and he was like, well, you can have a second chance then. You can team up with me. Like, yeah, you didn't make it on the Fatal Fury team this time because they didn't want to shake everything up, but hey, you can join my team then.
Fuck Howard.
Team Second Chance. Shingo's awesome. Shingo's awesome. Me personally, like, he just was in the hospital nursing an injury, wasn't he? Because he was basically cheerleading for, not really cheerleading, but, you know, he was just cheering for Kyo and company and all that. So. Back in 13, yeah. Stage with the giant mask. Yeah. That'd be pretty cool. That would be a pretty nice, like, shtick for Shingo if they bring him back. Like, take all the people, like, teams that have been shaken up before, and, like, let's say, for instance, like, there's a whole bunch of, like, team comps that people wish that certain teams had, but they've been confirmed not to be. Like, for instance, this might be kind of wild considering the different levels these characters are on, but I'm going to push through with it anyways. It's Shingo, so ridiculousness is not that much off the rocker. But the whole thing with Team Fatal Fury being, my prediction initially being that it was going to be Rock, Terry, and Mary. Well, seeing that that's not the case, and unless, let's say for instance, the women fighters team gets full before Mary can get on that, Shingo, you know, I guess with his, I mean, he might be kind of a joke, but I'm pretty sure the guy got some type of charm with him then. Like, he could legit assemble like a team of like, oh, you got left out then? You can join my team then, and we can show them. I'm lifting this because there's like a team like over in New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's called like Taguchi Japan. Taguchi being the name of like this one guy who's kind of a joke character, but for some reason, this guy has a team assembled of everybody who is not in a faction in like New Japan. Because like there's a whole bunch of factions, a whole lot of groups in New Japan, but there's some outliers. And he even like, and the guy hits a home run because he's even had like, who's considered a superstar in the promotion. He's had him on Team Taguchi Japan before. So you got like, that's what I'm thinking, like Shingo, that's what I'm thinking Shingo could be. Like Shingo could be like, yeah, he's kind of like a jokey character or whatever, but the kid's got a lot of heart. And like, it appeals to people that might be on the same strength level as he is, as well as he might appeal to somebody who is more of a veteran, like Mary.
He just describes Dan as the other joke character. And that's the Capcom. That's the Capcom crossover.
Unfortunately, I think Shingo could actually freaking tap Dan on the shoulder and Dan would lose, honestly. I mean, Dan, at least in Death Battle verse, lost to Hercule.
Dan is...
He lost to Hercule.
Little... I don't even know who Hercule is.
The Dragon Ball character, like the freaking guy with the mustache and the afro, the one that's...
Oh, okay. I think I've seen that guy.
The thing about him is for a human, like somebody who's a legitimate martial artist, he's actually not that bad. He's actually pretty strong. However, you put him next to the Z fighters and stuff like Goku and Gohan, Vegeta and company, he looks like a Dan, basically. Cause like he beat Dan in Death Battle because I mean, yeah, Hercule might be kind of a joke or whatever. They call him Mr. Satan over there in Japan, basically. But, you know, anyways. But Hercule holds one thing over Dan, and like that's legitimacy. Because Dan has won a fight before, but Sagat basically jobbed himself out for him. He threw the fight at a pity. So, like I said,
Dan is the difference between Dan and Shingo is Dan has shown the ability that he can use chi in some way because he can throw his fireballs and he's got all this other stuff. And then Shingo over here can't even produce fire with like half the other roster of KOF.
But I mean, he can brawl though, and then like Hercule doesn't have like the ability to use chi. Like I know Death Battle, I know Screw Attack Death Battle did it though, but like it's very legit. Like, even though the way the fight went down, if you watch, like just watch the Death Battle, like it's actually, because usually if you've seen Death Battle, like the freaking simulations are actually very epic and all that. But honestly,
they messed up in the past.
Say what?
Before as well, but I mean they have messed up in the past, but that's completely different. The only reason I wouldn't trust Death Battle 100% of the time.
I trust him with
because this one video is where Jotaro lost to the guy from Fist of the North Star.
Can't help you with that one, because I don't know enough about either one of those.
they even said it in their video. And it's like, I think it was an oversight, because Jotaro was able to destroy something, like there was a number that was way higher than the guy from Fist of the North Star, and then he somehow still won. Also, the fact that Jotaro can just straight up free time. I don't know.
You're gonna have to talk to like one of my friends who's also named Cheshire, who is freaking JoJo fluent. Like, only thing I know about JoJo's is that I played All-Star Battle Royale and I thought freaking Jolene Cujo and Lisa were just the best. More so Jolene Cujo, because throwing a bunch of freaking baseballs at somebody and calling the move balls deep is really cool. Just saying.
Remember the time I saw Rose, which when I saw her in Street Fighter 4, I know she's from Alpha, but the first time I saw her, like she's literally just Lisa.
That's another reason I like Lisa, because I love Rose. But like I said, because I'm not saying like, you know, Death Battle is sacrosanct or whatever, but it's like with the Hercule mess with Dan, that right there is no arguing that. You can't freaking you can't put somebody's one win against someone who basically could have probably killed him, and him just throwing it. Alright, I got you. My bad, Jose. But I'll give him that one because, like I said, at least Hercule has legit wins, even though he has like a crap ton of freaking illegitimate ones. So, ones where he had Majin Buu do the heavy work and everything. Now, on the other hand, like I said, the reason why I actually don't watch like the show religiously is because some of the mess is a little bit lopsided. Like, at first I thought, you know what? Maybe the freaking Ken Terry match won't be that bad. Actually, maybe this might be a good one. And unfortunately, they talked about what Terry did in the movies, and the mess. I'm like, nope, Ken is done. And also another thing I have against him is the fact they matched up Shadow with freaking Vegeta, and they made Shadow an idiot. Shadow the Hedgehog is not an idiot. It's Shadow the Hedgehog, like it's not Knuckles.
Yeah.
But, alright. Y'all got a little bit of extra there. Thank you, Jose, and thank you everyone else, Suichi, Super Duper, everybody that tunes in. Everybody over there in the Syrin verse there, thank you all for watching and supporting. About to close this up. Got anything that you want to tell our viewers there, Syrin?
No, I had an idea I wanted to throw around, but I don't know if we could actually do it. Is maybe bring a guest star on here sometime.
Oh, definitely. I'm down for it. Me and get the chief.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'd love to see if we could get Chief Red Star.
I'd love to get Chief in here. That'd be awesome. Hey, if you want to try it, hey, whatever you can pull off, I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. But yeah, anything else you got to tell the viewers? Anybody? Anything else?
No, not really.
Alrighty then.
Check me out if you haven't already.
If y'all didn't catch that, he said check him out on his channel. That is Syrin Syrin Richxson. I keep putting an X in the middle. What am I doing? Syrin Richxson TV. Like I said, his link to his channel will be in the description of the VOD once I can access it. And thank you again, Jose. Peace out, my mans. And thank you all, everybody else, for watching. Until next Saturday, catch us once again on the Shattering. See y'all next time. Thanks for tuning in. See y'all.
Yep. Yeah.